Hello YouTube. In this video I want to show you my CNC machined aluminum case, which started as a design and a 3D print model and turned into this gorgeous aluminum silver anodized case. And I just received it 2 days ago, and I still love looking at it and touching it. It has a heft, of course. It's not as light as plastic, and I think it came out great. I of course do like the shape of the case, and although I did not, you might see here the sharp corners, relatively sharp corners in the design, but I knew that once this is machined it will be tumbled to get the machine marks off, and that did take off the sharp edges, which they still look sharp, but they're of course not sharp at all. And instead of being rounded off, I think this gives it more character, like my other heads gauges and examples and products with the 45-degree angle corners. Just to show you a few, and yes, I think it speaks for itself. And this is made for the 3.5-inch IPS capacitive touch display that I'm gonna use with it. And on the back you can see there is a recess, and that is for the carbon fiber that I still have to order. Those were just some pieces I had that I just drilled one hole so I could mount them, and this also keeps the display in place right now. And but as you can see, it is flush with the case, and only the screw heads do produce a little bit, which is on purpose, because I want this once all screws are in there when the backlight is mounted. And if you put it on a table, it will, obviously it's rocking right now because I only have 2 screws diagonally. It will not scratch up the carbon fiber back. Other people might care less if it does scratch or not, but I do, and I wanted to have this lip so the carbon fiber is flush with the case, with the back of the case. It has obviously 6 holes. They are threaded for M2 screws, and here are the openings for 10 neopixels. As you might know me, I cannot live without neopixels, and the first design I actually made with this case was without the neopixels. But then it also looked kinda, not boring, but too simple. And this is the PCB that I'm designing for it, which will have the neopixels on the top. And this is a cutout for the flat wire of the display, and this will go in like this in here, and it is the exact dimensions, so it will not move around inside once it's in there. And yes, this is it. This is my aluminum case, and yeah, I don't know what to say. As for measurements, it is 100 millimeter wide, 74 millimeters high, and 17 millimeters deep, not counting the screw heads, which add another millimeter or two. Not two, but I think they're like 1.2 millimeters in height. I could also actually use those have rounded heads. There are also flat head screws, and I could use those as well. Then it would be even a little lower or sticking out less. But that's the easiest part, to get the screws. This was a not long time in making, but it did take quite a few weeks to design, and I especially wanted to have that beveled edge, and I had companies telling me they cannot do it, and they were gonna just mill it out straight down, and they wouldn't be able to make the corners 90 degrees and would have just rounded corners. But then, I mean, it would have taken away on the design, and as you might know, I am picky, and I wanted to get what I designed. So it still has the protective film on here. I know my friend in France will he doesn't like those the protective films. He always wants to see it without the protective film, but I still have them on there. And I have also ordered matte screen protectors, because as you can see, or maybe here not as much, but the display is quite reflective, and does show well on the real display as well, and here also it does show fingerprints very easily, and the matte screen protector takes off the glare and eliminates fingerprints. So I'm waiting on those. I will eventually have them also custom cut out of Gorilla Glass, and for now, depending on how I'm gonna able to cut the glass screen protector, I will use a diffused foil for behind the NeoPixels, so they will not be glary. But once I get the design, I will make it so that it will have this shape and be there in one glass. So that is the next step, and I have to order the carbon fiber back panels, obviously, which will have various holes for the various plugs and whatnot that this will use. And this will actually be my next, yet another CAN bus gauge working off OBD with no buttons whatsoever, because everything will be done over touch, and it will have a motion sensor in it, and that will also eliminate the external 12 volt that I had to use on my OBD plug, because the OBD voltage in the 12 volt is constantly on, which, as I mentioned many times, really stupid, as you obviously would need to turn on the engine or the car to measure anything. So I don't know why they did it that way. Anyway, it will have a motion sensor, and it will activate on when you get into the car. Most likely it will turn on alone by closing your door, and it will have a timeout, and after you leave your car it will go out by itself. So it will be true plug and play. Before it was plug and play as well, but you had to connect the external 12 volt that switched 12 volt. Now you don't have it no more. It will go into deep sleep and will use only a few milliamps in deep sleep, so you can leave it connected for probably safely up to a month. And if you're not driving your car any longer than a month, it would be advisable to unplug the OBD plug. And for storing cars, normally they even unplug the car's battery normally, but anyway, you don't need to do that if you're like a daily driver and have this in your car. I wanted, just for testing purposes, I wanted to see how the anodizing will end up, and I had it anodized in silver because I wanted a neutral color, plus I wanted a contrast between the display and the case, as well as in the back with the carbon fiber and the case. And if I would have anodized this in black, you would lose actually all the small details that you have, like the hexagon holes, not the hexagon holes, but it will just be less visible. I mean, here you can see all the reflections on the different sides, and that would be lost on the black one unless it's glossy. But then again, you would see each fingerprint, and here you don't see any fingerprints. Not that you're gonna touch this, the outside, you will touch the screen, and that is taken care of with the matte screen protector, which also adds another protection onto the touch display. And in case it does scratch or break or whatever, all you have to do is take the 6 screws out, slide the internals out, replace the screen protector, and you will be good to go as new. I will obviously also offer excuse me, offer the screen protectors by itself. I am even thinking of offering the case by itself, because it is a standard, pretty standard 3.5 inch display, 480 by 320 pixels. And in case you don't want to use touch, you could use a regular display or could make any other product out of this. And I am also, I did start on this project, which, as you might notice, has the same display and it will be in this orientation landscape, and it will have 2 rotary encoders, which this will be again in aluminum, and these knobs are aluminum as well. And it will have 2 encoders, and advantage of this is you can again just use them with your thumb, so you don't have to do like this. You can just hold it and turn it with your thumb. And this will be actually an all-around product. I first thought to use it as a keypad, but you can use it for anything you like, literally anything you like. It will be based on the ESP32, so you will have Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and Bluetooth Low Energy. And I want to use this actually for home automation as well. And again, you have 2 rotary encoders. I'm sorry, my throat is dry. Just took a sip of my coffee. What was I saying? So it could be any product. It will have optional battery connection. It will have USB Type-C connection. If you're worried about the Wi-Fi or Bluetooth signal to get out, it will be available with a small antenna. And I do like, I mean, you could have those PCB antennas on the back and not be visible, but I know some people, and me including myself, I do like an external antenna like that. It just kind of looks cool. But as I said, you could use also external like those PCB antennas that you just glue on the back or on the top if you like so, and use it for any wireless product. You will technically also have the option to get it with a potentiometer as input or rotary encoder. Obviously, rotary encoder has much more functionality and less turning ability, plus it has an additional button that you will be using. But if you have a project that needs a potentiometer, or even one potentiometer and one rotary encoder, you could get it like that as well. And this product, I was gonna put this on Kickstarter, but I think this is just a too niche product to put on there, and I want to put this on Kickstarter. For that I have to temporarily move to Germany, unless I can find somebody who will work with me, because I cannot participate in Kickstarter or Indiegogo because I'm living in Bulgaria. And by the way, a person that I talked to the other day asked me about myself a little bit, and he mentioned that some people might be a little wary ordering from me because I live in Bulgaria, and maybe because people think that I'm Bulgarian, but I'm actually not Bulgarian but Turkish. Not that Turkish people have a much better reputation, especially in Germany, than Bulgarian people, but somehow because, and I know that because I lived in Germany for 25 years, so I know all the people that do not like foreigners and whatnot. So anyway, different topic. So this will be another product that I'm gonna make. I will design the case for it, and this one actually will have rounded edges. It will be not like this. So if you like this, the edges, you would need to get this and not use the rotary encoders, but you could build any product with this as well. And but this one will have the rounded corners, because I mean you have two big round knobs on here, and then it makes a little sense to put this on here because it does not go with it. I mean, I think it does not go with it, so that's why this product will have rounded corners, beveled edges, rounded beveled edges. Or is beveled straight or rounded? Doesn't matter. Anyway, for now I do not plan to put any NeoPixels on here. Obviously, since this will be aluminum, there will be no side emitting NeoPixels around it, and I don't think I will add NeoPixels on the top either, so it will be like this. In case you're interested, and I did forget about the size myself, this is, what is it, 94 millimeters, but it will be slightly wider, so it will be again I think 100 millimeters wide and 100 high, so it will be 100 millimeters square. And if you do have any ideas, suggestions, comments, critic, if it looks like shit, do tell me. And not that I probably will care much about it, but because I like it, and if you don't like it, you don't have to get it or design it yourself. Anyway, this was it, and I like this. I can't wait to finish it up and put it in my car, even if I end up the only person in the world who has this. Actually, another person will have it, and that's my friend Dave, who always comments on my videos, and he bought like all the gauges that I built so far from the beginning, with the V gauge, with the OLED displays, and all the other color displays as well, color gauges. And this will be my top of the line product, and hopefully I will be able to sell more than one. Anyways, thanks for watching, and take care everybody, and thank you also to my 7 Patreons and people who do use my Banggood affiliate links. Every little bit helps. Thanks a lot, guys, and I talk to you on the next one.